Which point of Gyan inspired you when you first took the Raj Yoga course?
When I first took the Raj Yoga course, I was inspired very much by the point of the cycle, actually. The cycle of time amazed me. I'd never heard anything like that. And it just made me feel awe-inspired. The cycle was, for me, something to be understood, and I felt somehow that I would understand it over time, that it would become clear in my mind over time. It was something which I couldn't describe to others clearly or explain to others clearly at first, but I really wanted to learn how to. But I just know that it just made me feel amazed and excited, really, because I'd never heard anything like that. Cycling time, just one thing. The second thing of just not having, not being bound by the things that I'd learned whilst growing up in the world. And instead, there was like a totally new model. And I felt very comfortable with that new model. It was very different, very, very different to what I've been brought up on. But I really appreciated that. And I just wanted to know it more and more.
Share your experience of Baba's support in your personal life or service.
Baba has been a huge but incognito support for me. I felt Baba's support on all levels, really, through Instrument Souls, all the way through. Even when I was first in Brahman life, I really felt the support of the centre coordinator and the centre wasis at the time, the centre residents. I felt that they knew that I was part of the family and they wanted to push me forward. And I was willing to do that. I felt willing to go forward. And all the way along, even meeting Didi, she was supportive of me. She really was happy for me to be in the centre, for me to stay there and just be guided along by the other brothers. And as the years went by, Baba's always given me some sort of support. I think through Didi Nirmala, it's been very apparent. She's a person of few words, but her words are always powerful. They've always been very to the point and very relevant for me. She's given me freedom to be able to try different things, different ideas. She just seemed to know what I needed, and she allowed for me to blossom in my own time and become what I wanted to become and what I needed to become and what Baba wanted me to become. So that, in a way, I think that's where Baba's support has really come through. Baba also has given me a lot of subtle support, I think, through just somehow just things which I observe in my everyday life, many things that line up, many things that seem like a sign for me almost. That sign, it's been different in every case, but I just look for the signs, I look for things that seem right, and Baba's been very supportive in that way, in a subtle way.
Share your experiences with Janki Dadiji and Nirmala Didiji.
Well, Dr. Nirmala, Didi Nirmala, has always been there to support me. She's been an incognito support. She's never been pushy with me. She's always allowed me to make my own decisions, sometimes in really interesting ways. She's put an answer to a question back in my own hands and said, you make a decision. And I've had to go away and make my own decision rather than just listening to her decision. And I felt that she's said that in each occasion because she just wanted me to push ahead and learn to be responsible, learn to make a decision and be responsible for the consequences of that decision. And it's always been good. It's always been powerful. And Daddy Janki, the thing that I remember most was many years ago, I had some frustrations with the help that I was having from within the centre. And Daddy told me, look, even if there's one good soul in a centre, then that's what really matters. That one good soul will become the example for those who come to the centre to follow. And I thought, great, that it doesn't really matter. I don't have to think about others and where they're at and what their faults are. I can just think about myself and putting myself on track, keeping myself on track. Dr. Nirmala was a big inspiration to me in another way too. I feel that when she came to Australia, I wasn't there at that time, but when she came to Australia just a few years before I came into Gyan, she just served whoever was there. And she taught the other instruments at the time to do the same. Whoever would come, they would just be served. It was a very predominantly white Australia, if you like. And that didn't seem to worry Didi. She wasn't really on the lookout for Indian people who were living in Australia. She didn't think that way. She just served whoever. And as a result, the service in Australia really grew in just such a beautifully multicultural sense because of that.
What does spiritual sustenance mean to you?
Spiritual sustenance Baba is unconditional. Baba doesn't stand to gain anything himself from what I do. He serves me, he serves us, all of us, without any sense of a reward for himself. And I think that's the sort of spiritual side of it for me. If something is less than that, then it's really not spiritual. And I love the way that I've learned really what spirituality means through the Morley, through how Baba has delivered the Morley and encouraged us to be unlimited in our own thinking. That for me is really vitally important. And I see spirituality through those eyes.
Would you like to say something about Dadi Prakashmani?
Daddy G was just such a beautiful soul. They used to call her the Queen of Hearts, and that I really understand and get and feel.
Do you have any specific experience during yoga?
I would say over the course of my Brahmin life, I've pursued different types of experiences, and I love that. What I do tend to do, though, is I stick with something for a while. I have a theme running in the background, and in some ways it's a fallback theme, because I can sit down in meditation and not necessarily jump into that theme, but I could try different things. But then that theme that I have running in the background will always be there. And gosh, at the moment, I'm trying to find a really holistic way of just experiencing everything about myself and Baba, or just within a few short words, a few in my mind, a few short seconds, just to be able to capture everything. One thing that I've really been working with lately has been finding key words that really they strike me in a certain way when I hear them in the Morley, or perhaps something that Baba says makes me think of a word. It's not necessarily that he's said that word. Or I'll go away and think about other words for what he's said. And then I will just choose to use those words. They're like little homeopathic pills in a way. And, I put them under my tongue, my spiritual tongue, if you like, and let them just dissolve into feelings. So even a simple word like peace, because I think for me, peace became very bland over the idea of peace became very bland over many, many, many years in Guyana because we hear it so often, we become numb to it. Everything is Om Shanti, Om Shanti. We're encouraging others to experience peace and so on and so on. But I found, well, why not use the simple word of peace in a different way and just allow that simple word to dissolve into a feeling, the feeling of peace. And by thinking of it in that way, I found that I could get back that feeling again. And so I experimented with a whole bunch of things and I put them all together, and together I can make a sort of a soup or a stew or something that is wholesome and nourishing. And I just go for that experiential thing through working with the basic, simple ideas that Baba's given me, and then reducing them back to their essence.
What is your message for BKs?
We all know that the message is in the Murli every day. And we're all listening to the Murli or reading the Murli. We can all access it these days, and we can all access it in numerous ways. But the simple message is allow Baba to be your ultimate guide.
Rapid fire questions. Janki Dadi Ji.
Beautiful soul.
Didi Nirmala.
Mariana Purushottam.
Which speciality of yours do you think inspired Baba to choose you as his special child?
He saw that I had the capacity to be unlimited.
Which relationship with Baba you love most?
It depends on the day of the week.
Which Dham of Pandav Bhavan do you like the most among the Char Dhams?
Even that is variable. But I think Baba's hut.
What comes to your mind when you hear the word Madhuban?
Joy.